the Philadelphia Eagles. And you can see that on our screen there, and it's great graphics as usual from our studios. Now, we don't know exactly who the preseason games are going to be. The team's actually just going to be a total of three. We don't know that yet, Shano, but as you guys can see on the map there, we're going to go one by one real quick. They start off with a home opener as the Philadelphia Eagles start off at home against the Dallas Cowboys on September 4th at 8:20. Then it goes a little crazy here. It's an away game. It's 10 days after they play it looks like the Super Bowl rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's in Kansas City. Keep that in mind. And that'll be prime time only on Fox. And the next one, which is going to be my Super Bowl sleeper, I'm calling it now. The LA Rams are going to go pretty far this year, in my opinion. And they are at home. So the Philadelphia Eagles will host the LA Rams in week 3. Your thoughts on the first 3 games?
I think a lot of people were hoping that the Super Bowl rematch game was going to be week 1, and just because it's two marquee teams going at it.
Sure.
But I get them putting the Cowboys in at first there. I mean, that's just the NFC East rivalry. It's probably the biggest in the NFC East after the last couple of years. So like, and then I think the Eagles probably win that game. The week 1, that home crowd's gonna be pumped. They're raising the flag, raising the banner, getting the rings, all that stuff, right? But going to Kansas City and Arrowhead, that's always tough. And I'm with you with the Rams. The Rams have a great squad. I see them going pretty far this year as well.
Absolutely. We'll check out the next 5 as we go right before the bye. On week 4, the Philadelphia Eagles, the champs, are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can see there on a CBS game, which I'm not really a fan of the CBS games. I always like to see my Washington team, on an NFC Prime channel, which is Fox. But for the Philadelphia Eagles, they'll host the Broncos. They go away on the next 2 games at New York Giants and then at Minnesota. We still don't know exactly who's going to be quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And then right before the bye, they finish their, as people will call it, the sweep against the New York Giants.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of away games all squinched together there, right? So, and then there's a couple teams in there that could surprise you though. Like the Broncos came on strong at the end of last year. If they can
Mhm.
continue that, and Sean Payton can keep building that squad, I think that could give them some problems. Tampa Bay is always pretty tough. Uh, the Giants, who knows? Who even knows who's starting quarterback for them, right? So we have no idea. And the Vikings, they have a good team, but like you said, is JJ McCarthy's going to be starting? Is it going to be somebody else? Then we're not sure there either, right? So I think it's a pretty favorable beginning of the schedule for the champs.
So, what are you predicting right before the bye? So, we have a total of 8 games right before the bye. So, it's kind of a perfect way to if you're a team looking at the bye, because you know that when players see the schedule, they want to know, do they have an early bye, a middle of the schedule bye, or towards the end bye? What do you think for the first 8 games? What are you predicting? 4-4, 6-2?
I see them going 6-2. I see
Don't
them going
sleep
six
on the
and two.
Tampa Bay Bucks, my friend. Don't
Oh,
sleep
I'm
on
not.
that. No.
I'm not.
One of them could be a toss up right there. All right. So
um,
after
I,
the
I,
bye, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say I'm not, and I could see them 6-2. I think they'll go 6-2. I could see them also going 5-3. I think the Rams are going to be pissed. I think they're going to beat them even though it's at home in Philadelphia. It's like a little payback game from the playoff game last year, where I thought the Rams kind of outplayed them. And if they weren't playing in that snow game, then I
Hmm.
think the Rams probably could have won that game or should have won that game.
If the Broncos was an away game, I see Philadelphia losing that game, but it's a home game. So it's kind of, to me right now, it's a toss up. We go now after the bye week, and this is where, they kind of recharge the batteries and they go into Lambeau Field with a Monday night football game coming out of the bye against Green Bay. They host they host the Detroit Lions, who everybody predicted was going to go pretty deep last year, but of course Washington beat them in the second round or in the division game. Now it'll be on a Sunday night. Also on the away, it'll be the Cowboys, which it'll be a Sunday game away, and then you've got the Black Friday game, which will be on Prime against the Chicago Bears. They come back on the away, of course, with the Monday Night Football. December 14th is, of course, the Las Vegas Raiders. So we talk about the next 6 games here before we get to the last part of the last 3 games. What do you think with these 6 games?
I think this is where their schedule gets a little tougher, especially coming after the bye. That's kind of
Mm,
benefiting them, though. They're playing two tough teams right after the bye,
right.
but they have the bye. They have 2 weeks extra to prepare for those games, right? So, Packers are a good squad. Lions, a good squad, right? Both of them in the playoffs last year. Both of them strong. That whole division is strong. The NFC North up there, right? So, but it kind of helps them coming out of the bye to prepare for that. Um, After that Cowboys game, you never know. That's a division game. Cowboys always play them tough, especially that's in Dallas. Um, and then the Bears, I think to me is an unknown. They have a new head coach, right? Ben Johnson is coming in there from the OC from the Detroit Lions.
Right.
How is he going to do taking the helms as the main guy, right? So is it was his he's a great offensive mind, but was it Dan Campbell pulling the strings there that was like holding that Lions team together? Then that's why, or is it, or can he do it on his own? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout football, that you and I both know very well, you can be a great coordinator, you can be a great assistant coach, but a head coach, it's just a totally different animal, as you know. So with the Bears, though, it's it's good for the Bears, in my opinion, because it's towards the latter half of the season. If it was earlier, this would be a cakewalk for Philadelphia because, as you
I agree.
stated, Ben Johnson would have, as well as understanding the offense. I mean, anywhere you go, when you have a new coordinator, let alone a new coach, it's going to take at least a year to understand their terminology, etc. So this is now week 13 with the Bears, so it might they might keep it close on that one. Um,
On the other end of the spectrum for that, I think it's tough. Like it's tougher playing the Raiders late in the year. I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better than they were last year. I'm
yep,
not saying they're going to be world beaters, but
right.
you're getting Pete Carroll in there, experienced coach, right? Who's coming over. He's going to have that team turn around. Where I think if you would play them, if they would have played them week 3, 4, I think they would have like mud stomped them. But playing them this late, I think Pete Carroll will have that team running like a fine oiled machine. Like I said, they're not going to. The Raiders aren't going to beat the Chiefs and win their division or anything like that. But I expect them to be a better team this year than they were last year.
Sure,
And playing them
absolutely,
later was
absolutely.
definitely tougher. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, it just takes time to understand Pete Carroll's system. Um, he brings in a very respectable coaching staff, but understanding the philosophy, the standards, I think that's where it's going to take some time. Again, if they played them early, this wouldn't even be a contest. Here, they might keep it close. We finish off with the season for the champs in the last 3 games with, of course, our beloved Washington skins, as we call them, on my birthday. So keep that in mind, and we'll talk about my record on my birthday. I'm pretty good. I'm like, whenever the game lands on my birthday, I'm 8-2. So you just
that's
keep
pretty
that in
good.
mind. That's pretty good. And then of course they go to the next game, which is the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a tough one. It'll be a primetime game for Fox, and then home it'll be maybe a flex. We don't know. Could be a Sunday night. It also could be for the division title. Your thoughts on these last 3?
I mean, yeah, I mean that's 2 games. This is what the NFL wanted, right? They try to put some important division games near the end of the schedule that mean something. And then if anything plays out like it did last year, these 2 games against Washington are going to mean something, right? So um, the tough thing is like the Phillies' run defense, or not run defense, sorry, Washington's run defense was not very good last year, right? And if
Right.
they haven't fixed that up, then it's hard to stop Saquon. So I think Philly has the edge on at least one of those games, definitely in Philly, I would say.
I agree with that. Absolutely. You never know who will show up, etc.